And there she is, live from
Hi,
Chicago. Welcome, Ava, to the Jim Master
thank
Show Live.
you.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm very well. Thank you so much.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. And we have a lot of folks who are commenting right now. They're all excited. They've been commenting, I think, all afternoon long. So excited to have you here. So you're
Oh,
in Chicago, and you just arrived from visiting mom in Indiana, right?
yes, yes, my sweet mama, yes. And she's so much, she's all in that book, all the glitters. When we talk about that, and she's had so much influence on me in so many ways.
I tell you, there's been many influences, and you've been so influential for everybody else as well, Ava. Growing up in Chicago, what were some of those early influences for you that sort of attracted you to the arts, to entertainment, to music, to performing? A lot of great music coming out of Chicago.
Oh, yeah. There was a time when about 80% of it was coming out of Chicago because you had Curtom Records here, which was owned by the great Curtis Mayfield. You had the Dells, you had the Emotions, you had Chaka Khan, you had Rufus, you had Earth, Wind, and Fire. All of those great artists came out of Chicago. And then at one point, they kind of blackballed Chicago, where it made those major artists that I just mentioned decide that they were going to leave and live in LA or live in New York because it really wasn't the greatest place to push out of anymore. When I finished working with David Bowie, I did go to Curtom, and Curtis was still, running Curtom Records, and that was such an incredible experience with someone like Curtis Mayfield, a mentor, a wonderful man, a beautiful spirit, and such a great talent.
That's incredible. I mentioned the early times where you were introduced to David Bowie. Tell us a little bit about that. That was quite a meeting, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because I had just moved to New York. I'd been working here in Chicago as a model, and people like Victor Scribnesky, who's a great world-renowned photographer, took photographs of me, my first photographs actually. And I was working here, doing modeling, doing little commercial work, blah blah blah. And then I just decided that it wasn't big enough, like when those other artists left, that I needed to go to New York or Los Angeles. So the first place I went to was New York. And when I arrived there, I met a few friends, and I met this an Englishman before David. Actually, he was running a beauty salon called Davian. His name was David, in New York, and it was an upscale salon. And so we started kind of dating a little bit. And he one day he said to me, "Listen, would you be willing to dye your hair, your short hair, bleach blonde, because the New York Times wants to do an article on us, and we need like some new, vibe and hair color and new models." And I said, "Yeah." I thought, yeah, there's not many black girls running around with platinum blonde hair, short hair. So I decided to do it, and they had a huge picture of it in the New York Times. So anyway, then I did that, and then started looking for work. I found a great apartment, and started working at this place called Genesis. And it was owned by Rocky Aoki, who maybe if people used to go to Japan. It was a Japanese. He had a Japanese restaurant. I forget what the name of it was, but anyway, I started working for him. He had a nightclub called Genesis, and it was an upscale nightclub, and it was nice. I was making good money and blah 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 blah. And I got an agent, a manager, while I was in New York, and he one day came up to me and said, "Ava." He had this album in his hand. He said, "Ava, I want to show you something. There's this artist named David Bowie, and he's the newest sensation in Europe, and he's going to come here in a couple of months. But I think he's going to be huge, and I want you to listen to his music." Now, why he wanted me to listen to David's music when I didn't know anything about David Bowie, I don't know. I don't know whether he was trying to get me maybe to work with him at some point doing something he wanted, but I have no idea why David Bowie came into my life at that moment through this record. And he said, the record, and I looked at it and I saw David's hair wasn't red in this one. It was kind of green or yellowish green. And I said, wow, he's a gorgeous guy. He was gorgeous. And I said, so I'll listen. So I listened to it. From the time that I began to listen to that record, I just was mesmerized by what he was saying, because I was fascinated by UFOs and aliens and extraterrestrial. And he was talking about being like, an alien. And he had a beautiful voice. He was beautiful. And it was melodic, which I love melodic music. And I just listened to it over and over and over again till I was just addicted to David Bowie, never meeting him. And then
incredible.
It was incredible. It was like, it was meant to be. Yeah. I feel now that it was destiny, because like I said, I don't understand why my manager thought that it was so important for me to meet him, like I was ever going to meet him. Anyway, make a long story short, so Stevie Wonder was performing this one week at not Radio City. Oh God, I forget the name of the place. David was playing Radio City, but Stevie was performing in New York. And he said to me, and I was good friends with Stevie, he said, where should we give a party after the show is over? And I said, well, why don't we do it at the place that I work at, Genesis? Because, I'm sure the guy wouldn't mind, and it's an upscale club, and it's just the right size. And so he said, okay. So he arranged it through his people that we were going to give a party after he finished his gig there. And the night of the gig, I remember walking in, and Stevie was standing at the door greeting people. And so as I walked in, nobody said my name. He goes, Ava. I'm like, how does he know this is me? Nobody said my name. I said, Stevie, how'd you know it was me? He goes, I know everything. He says, I may not be able to see, but I can see, and it was just started out just really fantastic and phenomenal, and we were such good friends. So, we go downstairs and everybody was there, Gladys, Aretha, everybody was down there, partying and drinking and having a good time and singing and everything. And Stevie, there was a piano down there. Stevie was playing the piano. Everybody was around the piano singing with him. And so I was just standing there and I started singing too. Everybody was singing. I don't remember what it was, My Sherry Amour or something like that. Right. And I was singing. So I'm standing there. My manager comes rushing over to me. He goes, Ava, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, what? He goes, David Bowie is in this room. You know that guy who gave you his record? He's in this room. I'm like, my heart dropped into my stomach because I say what? Because by then, I was in love with him, just listening to his record. And I was fantasizing on the guy, what can I tell you? And he goes, I'm going to go get him. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? I was so nervous. He brings him over. And of course, he was very much a gentleman, very dapper, very beautiful. He had an electric blue suit, I think. His hair was red, electric, Ziggy hair. And he walks over to me and he takes my hand and he kisses it and he goes, this is Ava Cherry. This is David Bowie. He goes, pleasure to meet you, Ava, and kisses my hand. I'm like, wow. And he goes, I love your hair. And I said, I love your hair. So then we were this mutual admiration society there. We both loved each other's hair. And that's how we began the conversation. And he was a perfect gentleman. He was so sweet. And he said, wow, you're a singer? Because I was singing. I said, well, I just started really singing, starting to try to sing professionally. And he said, oh, well, you might be interested in a project that I'm doing. I'm going to Japan and I need a backup singer, and you have the look and everything and you sound great. Maybe you would want to go. And I said, you want me to go? He goes, yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah. How was I going to say no to this guy? I'm like madly in love already, Yes. And so he goes, okay, well, I'm going to be rehearsing at RCA tomorrow with my manager in the Spiders. So if you could just meet us over there and audition for my manager, because he has to have the final say, and blah, blah, blah. So of course I did. I showed up at RCA. I sang for his manager, and his manager said, "Yep, she's great." So that was it. He comes over to me. He goes, "You got the gig," and I'm like, "Oh, what? Oh my God!" So he tells me. So he says, "Why don't we discuss it over dinner tonight?" So
Wow.
I did. We he was staying at the Gramercy Park, and I met him for dinner, and we had a wonderful dinner. Then we went to see Charlie Mingus, who I really didn't know who he was, great jazz artist, but he was like fascinated by him. So I sat through Charlie Mingus, even though I didn't really know who he was. But anyway, so then, of course, things turned romantic after that, because I just
You were smitten. That's funny. That's the word I was going to say. Smitten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smitten. And the chemistry was there. I mean, the physical chemistry was really there. Yeah, right. It was like that.
But
And
it was also, as much as it was, professional, and also became a loving relationship. You guys, you were managed to, and we talk about it a lot on our show, kindness, empathy, but also there was a real deep spiritual connection, an enlightened connection between you and David, and you're almost like one on many levels, which was really, that's rare when that happens, right?
There was, it really was, it was, we had this, like I said, it wasn't, to me, it was not about just physical before I started working with him either. It was, I really liked him. He had the energy, and I had the energy. He loved my energy, that I was a very positive person. And people, when they would come up to us when I was with him, they would respond, really be happy and positive. And he saw that, and he wanted that around him, which I think that's why I was there so long. And it was just the spirit. He would teach me things. He was my mentor. He would say, "Okay, this is what German expressionism looks like. Metropolis. Let's watch Metropolis." Or let's listen to this classical piece, Vivaldi. The Four Seasons, or something like that. He would try to, embellish my mind, because when I met him, I was very street smart, but I don't know if I would call myself an intellectual, but he was trying to make me into an intellectual too. So it was really wonderful. It was really wonderful.
Incredible.
I miss him so much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the relationship off and on stage was something very powerful. How did that love enhance the music for you guys?
Well, like I think I was saying a bit earlier, he wanted me to learn the craft, the business, and what it was like to perform on a stage. Like I remember once when we first did, after we had recorded Young Americans, he said, "We're going to play the Universal Amphitheater for our first gig," which is like, I know, maybe 25,000. I don't know how much. I don't know how many people, but a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I remember Liz Taylor was there. There was a lot of celebrities all there. And he goes, "So you're gonna, And I said, "David, I'm terrified. I've never performed in front of that many people before. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know." He goes, "What?" I said, I don't know. I said, "I'm afraid." He goes, no, doll, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I'll get you through it, but you got to do it, period. It's not up for debate." So I was like, okay. So we get on the stage, and it's huge stage. This is when Luther Vandross was with us too by this time. So David's in the middle, and then way to the right is me, to the left is Luther and the musicians. And he's singing, and there's two spots on him down in front of the stage, and he's just singing his heart out. And then all of a sudden, he starts to walk over towards me. And I'm like, oh my God, to myself, my heart was beating so fast. I didn't know what he was going to do. He comes over to me right in my mic, and he just starts singing with me in my mic, whatever it was I was singing at him.
Incredible.
And it was so wonderful. I didn't know it was going to be like that. I thought it was going to scare me, but it made me feel power. And he was like, "See," while he was singing with me, he looked at me like, "Come on, baby, isn't this wonderful?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." So after that, it was like, "Bring on the 25,000, baby." That's all I got to tell you. Bring it on.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Exactly. And, the years together they're quite special. And, you've been paying homage to David ever since you just got back not that long ago from the big Bowie festival in
In
Dublin, right?
Ireland.
In Ireland?
Yes. Oh, it was incredible. It
Uh,
was incredible. It was incredible. Uh, they treated me so beautifully, and I just loved it so much. It was one of the best experiences I've had with a Bowie tribute. I did it in Portugal too with Jorge Video, but the one in Dublin was just so special. Dana Gillespie was there. She was protege of David's at one point and everything. We hadn't seen each other in many years, and we finally talked after many years. It was so nice. But the Bowie Ireland festival was just fantastic.
Incredible, huh?
Fantastic.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
be a part of that in that way. I mean, it's just like, so one of the great things too is you've had this wonderful friendship with another icon, Luther Vandross, who we
Um,
also miss. I mean, extraordinary
so
voice.
much.
Yeah. How did you get introduced to Luther? How did that happen?
Well, it was actually with David, because when David and I got together, David was like, "Okay, we got to put together a band because I want to do this soul trip." And so he goes, "Where should we go?" And I said, "We need to go to the Apollo because that's where all the great soul artists had performed. Like the Regal here was the same thing." And he goes, "Okay." So he sends me on to New York ahead of him, and he starts making calls. And Tony Sylvester, who was with the main ingredient, I think the name of the band was Cuba Gooding's father, put him in touch with Carlos Alomar. And so they started talking, and David said, "Well, I think I should go to the Apollo because I told him that that's what we should do." And
Right.
so they said, "Okay." The main ingredient were performing there this particular night. We were invited along with Richard Pryor, the
Oh, yeah.
Spinners, the Temptations. They were all on the same bill. And oh man, I mean, when we pulled up in that limousine, in that long black limousine, and David with the red hair and the electric suit, and me with the blonde hair, all these black people were standing on 125th Street, and they were like, "Who's that?" And so I said, "Well, it's David Bowie." They said, "David Bowie?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh wow." I mean, they were sweet. They were nice. They had never seen anybody like him before, and I could appreciate that. And we went in, and we had great seats, and David just enjoyed the show so
Mm,
much. Oh my
yeah.
God. And afterwards we went and we were talking to the main ingredient where Carlos was, I think he was playing guitar there.
Yeah.
And so David said, "Well, can we talk about, I guess a band situation kind of thing?" And I think, so they set it up. And the next thing we did, we were already in Philly. Um, Carlos came with his wife, Robin, and they brought Luther with them. And that was how he met Luther. So while we were all in the studio, David starts saying, "Okay, what about?" He starts singing certain things he wanted to work on, and then Luther, being the genius that he was, picked up on it right away and just started singing the background parts that we would do.
Wow.
And David was like, "Wow, this
Yeah.
guy's really." He goes, "You're it, mate." you know, and he just loved Luther's vibe and what he contributed to young Americans so much, so
Absolutely.
much.
Look at this incredible and cool photo we have here, Ava, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a real great day in the studio. Yeah.
Tell us what we're seeing here and when that
Well,
was.
I don't know exactly what song we were singing. I don't. And we might have been singing Somebody Up There Likes Me or something.
Yeah.
But the real genius of the photograph is singing on one mic together, because
Yes.
you can really tell when vocalists are really good, when they're great, when they can sing on one mic. If they have to go in and separately or sing on separate mics, that doesn't mean they're not great. That doesn't mean they're not good. I don't mean that. I just mean that if everybody is doing it on one mic and you get a
Yeah.
great singing, that's the very best.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that was a Neumann.
right. Look at this cool shot we have with Luther. Isn't that
Yeah, we
great?
were doing creeping. We were doing creeping. We were coming down the stairs. We had stairs that lit up. I think you can maybe see a little bit of it in the background. Stairs that lit up. And when we go creep, 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 when he would go creep, 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 we would just like go down the stairs according to his tempo. So it was good. It was great.
What
So
was
good.
Luther like, for all of us who always admired him? And whenever we hear his music come on the radio, or we just put it on, in our iPods or whatever these days, what was he really like? It seemed like he was just such a nice guy.
Well, he was a very nice guy. He had his moments, though.
Yeah,
He had
sure.
his moments,
Like we
but he
all,
was a
right?
very, yes, of course. He was most, above all, he was a pro.
Yeah.
I mean, a pro. He did not. He would say sometimes to people, "I'm not playing the lottery, so let's do it or not do it."
So
You
we
know.
would just say he was very exacting. He was sort of a
Yes, I would
perfectionist.
say. I would say,
Yeah.
like, he would want everybody's notes to be perfect, because I can remember a story where, when I first, after David and Luther started his own group, he asked me to tour with him, and I had to
Mm,
audition.
yeah.
So I was sitting in the audition with some other singers, Lisa Fisher, and some other
Oh,
singers.
Lisa Fisher. She was
And
a guest on the
yeah,
show. She's
oh, she
amazing
was.
too,
Oh,
huh?
yeah, wonderful, wonderful, Lisa, wonderful.
Fabulous person.
Yes, yes, and spiritual too.
Yes.
And so Luther was giving everybody a notes, and Luther had a tendency to give you notes that were not in the chord. So you would be like, "What's that note? I don't hear the chord." But he demanded that your stuff.
Yeah.
And so he said he sang the note to me, and I kept trying to get it because I wasn't used to working like they worked. They would get it on the first or second time, so I kept getting it wrong. And everybody Lisa's looking at me like, "Oh God, get the note right." And so Luther said, so after it was over the rehearsal, Luther said, "Ava, come here." He said, "Listen, you've got to get this note. You got to keep up with everyone else. I know you're just new to this, but please, he said, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this dictaphone, and I'm going to put the note on there, and I'm going to sing it. And tomorrow, when you come for this rehearsal, I want you to know it, because if you don't, you can't be a part of this band."
Mm, wow.
And I'm
Yeah.
being honest, because
Yes. So he
I
really, yeah.
respected it so much.
Right.
It was like, okay, baby, you better believe I took that dictaphone home and I slept with it on my head. I put it on my head. I slept with it all night. I just kept, every time I wake up for a second, I turn it back on. And then
Yeah.
in the morning, I felt like I had it, but I wasn't sure, because, like I told you, it wasn't in the chord. What he had me singing, it wasn't in the chord. So I didn't hear it when it came. So I was like, "Oh God, please, please, God, help me today." So we get to the rehearsal, and then we're doing it, and everybody's singing, and we get up to where I'm supposed to sing, and I nailed it. And Luther looked at me. He goes, "Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about."
That is so cool, huh?
So it
So
was.
you wanted it. You really
I
wanted it.
wanted I
Yeah.
wanted him to beat me up a little bit, because I understood that he was about discipline. We would
Right.
have we would have 6 days of rehearsal, 10-hour days when we were going to tour, and people would come to us and go, How long did it take you to learn that routine?" And like 6 days a week, 10-hour days for about 3 months. you know. And Luther would come to the rehearsals because we would start the rehearsals with like me, Kevin Owens, and Lisa Fisher. We would learn the choreography first, and then Luther would put the music, get us to sing along, so we would be moving while we were singing, which is also very hard to do.
Yes.
Beyonce learned how to do it, and a lot of other artists cannot do. Michael Jackson learned how to do it. Anyway, we would come in and we would be like so tired, and then Luther would just come in. He wouldn't sing yet. He would just be sitting there looking at us doing the choreography. We'd be like, "Oh God, he's gonna sit here and just watch me." And then every now and then he'd go, "Lisa, Ava, point those toes, point those." We would be like, "Oh God, help us!" And I mean, there was sometimes we would cry because we worked so hard, but it paid off. We could be turned around from each other and not even see each other and be on the right note for everything. And people would just say, "Wow, that sounded like we were in a recording studio, that gig." So I'm proud of what we did. I'm proud of my working with Luther in there. I'm so proud of it. I can't even say.
It's incredible when you really think about it. It's all been a true blessing in so many different ways, and your own music too over the years, as well.
Yeah. Did you get the Picture Me album? Picture Me.
Yeah, we have this too. This one. Tell us about the Astronettes.
Okay.
That was cool.
The Astronettes really started out just being the Astronettes. David wanted to have, when we did the 1984 show in London at the Old Marquee Theater, David said, he wanted it to be, his backup band to be called the Astronettes, because it was all about space and Astro and all that. And then when we finished, doing that tour, that date, David decided, and he decided he wanted to produce me, that he wanted to call it Ava Cherry and the Astronettes.
Yeah, that is so cool. How long did that last?
The Astronettes?
Yeah.
Well, it only lasted as long as we were trying to finish the record.
Right.
I was in the studio with him doing the record, and they were some of it was finished, but most of them were demos, just demos. And this is when, while we were right in the middle of doing the record, was when David started having problems with his record company main man and his manager Tony DeFries, and discovering that there was thousands, maybe millions missing from his bank account. And so he said, "Ava, we can't finish this right now. We have to come back to it, because I got to deal with this legal stuff, and and I'm freaking out, but I got to deal with it. So we've got to, and I said, well, what's going to happen to it?" He goes, "Well, I'll put it in my vault and it'll be safe there. And then we'll just resume it, when I finish taking care of this," which is not what happened. Somehow or another, Tony got a hold of the master, and he released unfinished mixes of the demos. Like, I think one or two might have been finished, but the rest of them we had done maybe 4 or 5 more, and they were not. So I was so upset, because I never saw a dime from it. He made so much money off of it because it was produced by David.
Right.
And I was in such despair when he did that. I couldn't believe he did it. And then, okay, he did it, but didn't bother to try to share any of it with me, that really knocked me for a loop. So
yeah, sometimes the business can be a little unforgiving, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, of course it can be. I mean, the same as it was unforgiving about when I went into the studio with John Lennon and it was David, and did Fame, because at the end it goes fame, 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 fame.
That's right.
That's me, David, and John Lennon. Okay. Because, and you can hear my voice down there in the middle, because when John came to the studio to do that record, John had put his high voice on Fame, and David put his voice on it, and then David said, "Ava, go in the studio, go in the vocal booth." So I'm like, okay. I go in. He goes, "Okay, I want you, when I tell you, I just want you to keep saying Fame all the way down." And so I said, why? He goes, don't ask why, just do
Just
it. So I said, okay, I did it. And then they ended up VSOing our voices. And that's how it came out at the very end. And so
wow.
when, years later, I want to say 2014, when uh, maybe it was 2013 or 2014, they were doing a commercial for Cadillac for
Yeah,
Fame. And they
that's right.
did one for Louis Vuitton as well. So they called me up and they go, oh, Miss Ava, we're doing a commercial and you're going to get a lot of money off this commercial. It's going to, so, just be looking for the check. And I'm like, wow, great. 5 days later, they call me back and they go, Miss Cherry, we're sorry to tell you that we can't pay you for Fame. I'm like, what?
Yeah. What?
They said,
Come again?
your name wasn't written on the back of the album. I'm like, but it's on every other song. He said,
Right.
yeah, but that one in particular, it was not there. So we can't pay you. So that was thousands and thousands of dollars. And I cried on that one. I cried about that one
Oh yeah,
because it just wasn't
absolutely.
fair. It wasn't fair. And so then in 2014, I went to his estate. And I got a lawyer, and I went to his estate, and I said, "Listen, I'm on Fame, and you guys have never paid me for it, blah 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 blah." So they kept trying to say, not David, because by this time David, I think, was sick. I think he was in chemo and everything, and they wouldn't let anything get to him or anybody. So because I tried to get to him, his business manager said, "You weren't on it. You weren't on Fame." I'm like, "I was on Fame. I don't have any reason to lie." And I went to everybody. Carlos was there when I sang. Harry Maslin was there, but a lot of people didn't want to cop to it because I think because of the estate. So anyway, so I said, well, my lawyer said, well, the only thing that we can possibly do is get the master and take your voice off of it and prove it's your voice. And I said, okay. So we hassled back and forth with his estate for like literally 7 or 8 months, where they
Wow.
wouldn't get back to us, or they said, you kept saying that I still wasn't on it. There were a lot of versions, but I don't care what versions. That Fame was the same on every version that they did
It's
of that
you.
song. Yeah, it was the same. In other words, I'm saying they could have done 10 different versions where David sang it different. That was still at the end of the song. And so finally, my lawyer said, okay, listen, we're tired of playing around here. If you don't answer us, we are going to get everybody in court, Yoko, everyone. We are going to take her voice off of that track, and we're going to prove it's her. And when we did that, they finally
And they sort of
gave us. But here it is. The statute of limitations was against me in terms of the time that I couldn't get paid from way back then. They had to start from a certain time. And in whatever time that was, 2013 or 2014, I got paid from then on. And so that still didn't make me happy. But now I get paid from now for forever. But I'm just saying that I had to fight for that, guys. And I'm telling you, people, you have to fight for your rights, because there's plenty of people that were on tracks that they will not say were on the tracks. They didn't get the credit. And then they don't want to pay you. And you did the work. And I had no reason to lie and say I was on that if I wasn't. Everybody knew I was there. Everybody did. Like I said, Yoko, because she came in while we were doing it. And I was just so disappointed that they tried to keep me from ever getting any money from that. So now I do.
Fantastic. Hail Mary, fighting for your rights is so important, right? Because you
It
were there
really
and you did
is.
it.
Oh,
And,
God.
a lot of money was
And
being
David
made
would
off
want me
that.
to have it. David would want me to
Yes,
have it.
absolutely.
He's
Yes.
gone, and so now when he was gone or not able to speak for himself, then it was easy to just deny it or deny people. But I'm happy now because they're never going to get rid of me, and I'm in it for the duration as long as I'm
Well,
on this planet.
yeah. Well, a dear family friend of ours who just passed away in January went through a very, well-known story, went through something similar. Ronnie Spector. um,
Oh yeah,
with Phil Spector and, you know, the Ronettes and the music and everything, and had to really, you know, fight
right,
to, yeah,
right.
yeah, you know, and
He's been
sometimes
there. Oh man, and it's not easy because what they all figure, especially in a state like Davis, is that you don't have the money to get a lawyer
you wouldn't be
to
able
fight for
to,
you.
write.
Yeah, but you know what? The lawyer that I got, he did most of it pro bono. He said, "I'm not going to let them do this to you. I'm not going to let them do it to you.
That
I'm going to
feisty
fight for you."
Chicago girl came out and said,
Yeah,
"Nah,
baby, the
not
Chicago girl
happening."
came out. I was like, with I was like, I've been played upon long enough, and I know my rights, and I'm only going to ask for what's fair and right.
Right,
That's it.
exactly.
You know.
When you were
So.
doing, of course, you're still doing music, but were you also still modeling along the way too, or was
Oh
music
yeah, I mean, I was
essential?
still
You
doing
were doing
print
both.
work and things like that, and then I started doing a few commercials and things of that nature as well. On camera stuff. I'm doing it now. I'm doing voiceovers. As a matter of fact, I have an audition tomorrow for voiceover, so I'm still doing that stuff.
Is it like a commercial or something you're doing?
Yeah, it's a commercial. It's a
Cool.
commercial. So, I mean, I
Congratulations. Good
love it.
luck.
I love commercials, babe. Let me tell you,
Oh
it's
yeah.
so lucrative. It's so good.
Voiceover
You
is a
can do,
great area.
oh my gosh, really good. And it's a great medium.
Yes.
No matter how young or old you are or what you look like or anything like that, anybody can do them if they have the right, voice.
Tell us about also working with Chaka Khan as well, another legend.
Okay. Well, Shaka and I are both from Chicago here. And I remember seeing Shaka when she was with a group called Lock and Chain. She's a little older than me, but she was with a group called Lock and Chain. I think it's her very first group. And then she started singing with Rufus, and it was just incredible. I mean, I remember that Tony Maiden, who played the guitar and who wrote some of the songs with them, she was supposed to do Hollywood, all the background parts on Hollywood. They had put the track together and whatever, and she was supposed to sing the background parts. For some reason, she didn't make it in the studio that night. And so they asked me to do the background parts. So I did. Hollywood, uh Hollywood. And so that
That
was that
sounds
was what.
so good. You want to
Oh,
pause
thank
right
you.
there, everybody? Didn't that sound good?
But
That's
anyway,
like butter.
Johnny. So I did it, and but I didn't get them to put my name on the back of the record. And then she came in and did some more and reinforced that, but I didn't get the credit for that on the back of the record either.
You didn't, huh?
No, no,
Wow.
I
That's
know.
incredible.
But anyway, just moving forward with Shaka, she's wonderful, and she would come to the Luther gigs, and her and Luther would sing together and all that. So Luther loved Shaka.
Hey, look, we have somebody here that's watching. Is it Jean Van Gent? Hi, Ava. How nice that my
Hi,
portrait of you was
Arjan. Oh, he's a
featured.
brilliant artist. One of those pictures that you showed
Yeah.
with the painting. That's Arjan's painting. He's a brilliant artist. Oh my goodness, he's painted so many talented people so well. And hi,
Yeah.
Arjan.
He says, I love your version of Sweet Thing. It gives me goosebumps every time. Can you tell me a little bit about how it came about?
Sweet thing.
Good question. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Sweet Thing was meant to be on the Astronettes record that I did, the Ava Cherry and Astronettes. It was meant to be on that, so we worked on that, and we started working a little bit on it when I was in France with David at the Chateau Deauville. We worked on it a little bit. He said, Sing Sweet Thing for me," and it was, "Boys, boys, it's a sweet thing. Boys, oh boys, it's a sweet thing, sweet thing. If you want it, boys, get it here now." That was the song. And
Oh my
um,
God. Everybody's melting.
Uh, and
Let's
so,
get
you
hotter in
know,
here. Turn on
and
the
I did
AC.
that. I mean, I was just a kid when I did that song. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I was just making 19 or something like that. And he wanted me to do it, but then he decided to do it himself at the end, you know, for whatever reason.
It's amazing how it all works out, right, in certain ways.
Yes, yes. It's amazing how that just came out. Just somebody
Yeah.
found the masters and released them.
Yeah, I want to tell people about the amazing book. When you decided to write All That Glitters, which is an extraordinary, riveting book, there it is on the screen, folks. You got to pick it up. You know, you can go to Amazon anywhere and grab it. When you decided to write this, to pen this, when did you know the time was right to tell the story? And how did you know? You know, they say sometimes one of the hardest things when you're writing is to know where to begin. There's so
Right.
much rich history. It's no, you know, where to begin with the first sentence. Tell us about what inspired you to write this incredible book, and congratulations on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm proud of it. I am. And I'll tell you all of that. I just want to say when it happened kind of just as COVID hit, just before COVID hit, and then after, I said, I got to do something with myself in this time because artists weren't working. They didn't have live performances going on or whatever. And I met this lovely lady named Lisa Torum, who's written a lot of books, and she's a great journalist here in Chicago. And I said, well, what would you think about doing this book with me? And she said, I'd love it. So, hi, Lisa. And anyway, make a long story short, she said, what we're going to do a little bit every day. A little bit every day, or you know, every other day. We're gonna do like 2 hours, and I'm just gonna talk to you, and I'm gonna ask you things about this, that, and the other. And that's how we did it, and it was wonderful. It was so incredible to relive those things because I never really wrote those things down in a diary. I just retained them in my mind.
That's so
And
incredible.
it was really great. And just taking it from when I was growing up here in Chicago, and my mom and dad being the most wonderful parents and just wanting the best for me, and giving me everything I needed and some of the things I wanted, and just loving me unconditionally, and supporting every single thing that I did. And if I want to take ballet, if I want to take piano, I took it all. They let me experiment, but it just, and then of course my mom's cooking. She was the best cook in the world. I just remember waking up and smelling the most incredible smells, and just and yeah, it was just wonderful, Jim.
What was her specialty? What is her specialty?
Oh my gosh. Okay, my mom's she had a few. I'm gonna give you a few.
What's her first name?
Irma.
Irma. Hi,
Yes.
Irma. You raised a beautiful daughter, very
Oh,
talented.
thank you, Jim. Macaroni and cheese, baby.
Oh,
I mean, she made macaroni and cheese that would make you just go, what? It was always moist, but just had the right texture and
now
had
can you
just that
replicate
nice.
it? Have you
No.
tried?
Well,
No,
first of all,
can't.
I don't need dairy anymore. I don't eat
So
cheese, so
that was back then.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was back then. I ate a lot of it then, though. And she made this gourmet. I mean, she made it like, I don't know what she did. It was, people be like, who made this macaroni and cheese? And she did that. She made the best collard greens and cornbread from scratch, and
Wow.
pot roast and ham that would fall off the bone. Oh
Wow.
my God.
Mm,
And potato salad. Oh.
that sounds good. Getting hungry. Now, were your parents, was the family musical?
Yes, my dad played trumpet along with his twin brother. They both played trumpet, and they were in a band called the Benny Latham Band, and they opened for Count Basie and a few other big names. And he did his trumpet playing, and then he and his brother were in World War II, and they were in the Battle of Normandy. My father and his twin brother.
Wow, that's amazing, huh?
Yeah. I'm proud of my dad. So
Oh,
proud of him. And also my dad was a pro tennis player in the 40s, because how he got to be a pro tennis player, but he couldn't play pro tennis, was his mother was the overseer, the housekeeper for this all boys school. There was
Hmm.
a boarding school, and it was predominantly white. It was like, 95% white, but they allowed them to take classes, he and his brother, in the school. They were like really the only ones. And so my father learned archery, he learned to shoot, he learned tennis. So he was playing
Wow.
tennis when he was, in his 20s. And they said they wrote an article in the paper about him, and they said if he had not been a black man, he would have been able to play pro tennis. He was that good.
So he was sort of stopped from going forward, huh?
Yes. I have his tennis racket too.
Really? What was his name?
Antonio Cherry.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Well, look, I love tennis. I play it myself as well. So that's
Yeah, yeah,
great.
but he would have been,
Did you
he would have,
play at all?
not very well. I have to admit, oh God, no.
That's
I
one thing
didn't
about
play.
Ava. She's a straight shooter. She's real, honest, and authentic. I
I
love
am.
that
I'm
about
going
you.
to tell you the truth because there's no
That's
use
it.
in lying now. You know what I mean? No, no. But I admired him playing it, and I once said something to my father, which I think hurt him before he died. He died like 30 years ago. He died very young for me, and I remember I was like 13, and I said, and we were struggling a little bit, and my father would work two jobs. As long as I remember, he gave up playing trumpet, he gave up playing tennis and everything to raise his family.
Yeah.
And so I was one day I was mad at him, and I said, Dad, you didn't follow your dreams. You could have been a pro tennis player. You could have been you could have played trumpet with your own band, and you didn't follow your dreams.
Hmm.
And he didn't say anything.
You
He
just
said,
stopped.
he just said, okay. He didn't argue with me about it or anything like that. And
Right.
when he was dying, and I was talking to him, I said, Dad, can I tell you something? He goes, yes, of course. I said, can I apologize for what I said to you when I was 13? Because I didn't realize how hard it is for a person to be responsible and take care of a family and bring home the food every night and give up your dreams to raise your family and be a responsible person the way you were. So
Right.
I just want your humble apologies. He goes, that's okay. He used to call me A. He goes, I know you didn't know. I know you didn't know. He says, so I don't worry about that. So I just thought that was so sweet that he said that to me.
Isn't that beautiful? Wow. I tell you, sounds like he was really a great guy, you
Oh
know?
my gosh, my father, he used to call me and my sister little soldiers, and he'd be washing us up for school and take us to our piano lessons, take us to our ballet lessons, take us out on trick or treat in our little costumes. I was always a witch. I, I was a beautiful witch, though. I was a beautiful witch, and I miss my dad so much. I miss him so,
Yeah.
even 30 years later.
He's still with you, you know. He's still
Yes,
with you in
yes, yes.
spirit and
In
in
my heart, in my soul.
yes, he is still
Oh,
with you.
I said one more thing to him when he was dying on his bed, in his deathbed. I said, Dad, I'm still working at being successful, and are you disappointed that I didn't have grandchildren for you, and that I didn't totally get there while you were here? He goes, no. He says, I know how this business is. I was in it. I know it's difficult. It's hard. Don't give up, though. Don't ever give up. Just keep following that dream if you want it. Just keep doing it. That's what he told me.
And that stuck with you, didn't it?
Yes.
Through thick and thin, ups and downs, all the craziness. It
Yes.
stuck with you. And that's a beautiful thing to have in your heart and soul to be able to, when things get a little crazy, to reflect on that, right?
Yes. Yes. Really. I do. I talk to my father all the time, and I say, Dad, you were right. You were right, because, now, for a long time, especially when COVID, I was like, how do you support yourself, whatever. And I started doing the voiceover and all this other stuff. But it was really hard. And my mom said, I want you to be able to make the money at what you do. And then I started to really do that, because I
Yeah.
stuck with it and I didn't give up. But sometimes what you have to do is move around and do other things that also bring your dream to fruition, because sometimes it's not a straight road. It's not, most of the time, it's not a straight road. There's all kinds of little stops and starts and all kinds of little, peaks and valleys that you have to do.
Exactly.
And I appreciate it. But if I died tomorrow, I would say I have lived a very, very full life. I have. I don't regret any of it.
And you continue to, and you inspire us through your being, your way, your personality, your love of life, your spunk, your incredible talent on so many different levels, Ava. People,
thank you, Jim.
They gravitate to you because you're the real deal. And I think that's something you don't always see, in music and in Hollywood and on stage. You just don't always see that. And you're just, Ava is Ava, and I think that's why people love you so much, and they want to hear from you, and they want more material, and people are very excited about you being on the Jim Masters show too. People are like, oh, Ava, I love Ava. I've followed her for
Jim
years.
Masters.
You know what I mean?
Lovity. I'm one of the lovities.
You are one of the lovities on the Jim Masters show live. We were talking about that beforehand, and our audience, our viewers, our lovity viewers have already said that you are definitely a lovity. Matter of fact, Maureen is here in Arizona. She says, I have no doubt your dear dad is proud of you and smiling from above.
I know. I hope so. I hope so.
Kathleen in New York City says your dad would be proud of you. He is smiling. Absolutely. And Crystal says, you are lovely and a special individual. And Merlin in Ontario, Canada wanted to know, this is tough because there's so many, but do you have a favorite song to sing? Is there one song that's just the one for you? So many.
Well, I kind of am inspired by this song, but I'm just going to sing a line from it. You can reach me by trailways. You can reach me by railways. You can reach me on an airplane. You can reach me with your mind. You can reach me by caravan. Cross the desert like an Arab man. I don't care how you get here, just get here if you can.
Wow, just letting that soak in. Holy cow. Guys, are you tingling like I am? Yes, Lisa's got chills. Maureen says, you are indeed a beautiful person, Ava. The world is lucky to have you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Claps from Kathleen in New York City and from Crystal and Linda in Florida. You are very special, Ava, and love your voice. Merlin says, thank you, Ava. She's in Canada. Sherry in Kansas says, wowza. Maureen says, beautiful. We've got great voice, Ava. Thank you very much. You guys are amazing.
You guys, thank you so much. Your fans are so beautiful. Thank you for those kind words, everyone. And I take them so, because really, I know
it's all about, right?
Yes, and and I know that God has me here now to bring people joy through music. Without music, I think I would die. And I think that when you hear something that makes your heart feel good and makes you feel some great emotion through music, it's the best thing. There's nothing like it. Nothing.
What I love about you too is you're a very deep person. You're very, and that connection that you've had with David Bowie, David being very deep as well, and it was reflected in his music. And you could see that evidenced with the relationship you guys had professionally and personally. But you really you're very deep, very kind, empathetic, very spiritual. When Mercury is in retrograde, you know about it, you feel it.
Because I'm ruled by Mercury. I have Virgo rising.
Ah, really? So I'm Libra, so I crave balance and harmony.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what your rising is? Do you know what your rising is?
Virgo rising.
Virgo's your rising? Oh, my gosh.
See?
Oh, my gosh.
Virgo rising.
All right, babe. All right.
And Libra's tough only because, we love and we crave creating environments where it's
and
balanced,
balance
harmonious.
and beauty,
And this
and you're
world has been
intelligent.
anything but the last couple of years.
I know, and but Libras are so intelligent, and they're but they do crave the beauty, and they do know how to bring the beauty on. Yeah, I have like 5 planets in Libra,
Oh, you
but
really?
your rising conjuncts my rising. That's
I
our
cannot
connection,
wait
because
to
I
go
feel
to the
such a connection with
supermarket
you. I
to
feel such a connection with you. I feel such
that's
a
what I meant.
flow
Yeah,
of conversation with you.
it's a
And
vibe.
that's why, because we Virgos know how to articulate ourselves, my brother.
I cannot wait to go to the supermarket and tell everybody when I'm shopping that my rising has conjunctioned with Ava Cherry's.
Cherry's rising.
They'll be like, say what? Explain
Say
that.
what?
Sit down.
Sounds kind of sexy to
I
me.
was going to say, she said it, and I will not disagree. Yeah, it's really true. You know, when they talk about some of the characteristics of your astrological sign, it's really amazing, isn't it? When you look into it, I mean,
It
how
is. I've been studying it for
a
many, many
long
years. My
time,
mother
right?
started me. Oh, yeah, at least 15 years, 20 years I've been studying, maybe more, because I found that I got through some cycles that were long term, like 7 years. We have all these cycles that affect us that was trying to figure out why the cycle was so long. So I had to study astrology to understand how long the cycle was so that I could get through it and endure the cycle.
What did you know, we've been through some really tough times in the last couple of years. And I keep saying on this show and even in my professional work, I hope that we rise out of this kinder, more empathetic, more loving, put on the great music like Ava, you know, watch the nostalgic movies, bake some bread, get together with people as much as you can, but hopefully be more empathetic, kinder, listen more as opposed to talking,
Yeah.
less divisive, more collaborative, more loving. That's just always what I've been hoping for. How have you gotten through the last couple of years of craziness? And what are some of the things that Ava, this extraordinary talent, this music legend, all these other things, but a real person that has feelings, that expresses love, what are some things you learned about yourself as you've had this time as well to look inward and to reflect on life and to look at
Wow.
what you want for the next chapters of your life, Ava?
Well, in my career, I've learned that you're only as good as your last, whatever you did. You know, I never lie on my laurels. I'm proud of what I've done, but I never lie on those. So I know that everything I do, I go into it like a baby, like I just came out of the womb, because I don't go, oh, I did this before and I'm doing it again. I know, I just go, okay, and I just give my whole heart and soul to it. But also, I see that, life is, you got to live in the now, and you can't live in the past, and you can't live too far into the future, because you don't know what God is going to bring. Every single day we see things happen. They were like, what? That person's gone, and they were too young. They were too, and I just learned now to take every day, savor it. Please, people, savor every day that you
Yes.
have, especially with your loved ones and the people that you love and that love you. Don't go out looking for the grass being greener on the other side if you're with somebody that loves you and has been with you and supported you, because you may never find that person again. I miss David so much, and I know when he got married, I was happy for him that he got married and loved somebody else, because you can love more than one person. But I loved him so much. I loved him just beyond. He's the person I love the most out of everybody I ever loved.
Did you stay in touch over the years as well?
Well, that
Were
was a
you
bit
able to?
difficult, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Because he was married to a woman that I knew before he married her. And
Yeah.
so in their engagement party, I was invited to their engagement party, but he wasn't there that night yet when
Yeah.
I got there. And Iman, of course, I was invited and I went. Some friends of mine invited me. And of course I was dressed to kill. And of course, Iman was dressed to kill because she's a fashion icon. But she came up to me in the middle of the room and in the party and said, Ava, look at the engagement ring that David gave me.
Yeah.
And so even though my heart was breaking. I knew she knew that I was important to David. Otherwise, she never would have showed me that. She
Exactly.
never would have said that to me. She would, I mean, what was I to her? She was not, so what? He was somebody, you know, he just dated. No, I was important to him. I was an important part of his life. I was an important part of the pop culture of David Bowie. And I'm proud, proud, proud. And as long as I live, I will continue to honor him and tribute in every way. And I'm going to be performing with Todd Rundgren and Adrian Belew and those guys. The celebrity, I'm sorry, Celebrate Bowie. They're doing a gig here on October 14th, and I was asked to do the gig with them. So I'm going to be celebrating him then.
Mm. How has knowing David Bowie, performing with David Bowie, loving David Bowie, collaborating with David Bowie changed your life in its trajectory, in the direction that you were headed, enriched your life through the music, through the relationship? What are some of the key things that still stick out with you where you say, you know, if I hadn't met him at that time and we didn't have this wonderful understanding of the human condition of each other and the vibes, the spiritual nature, the ability to create fabulous music as well, how different life would be for you? What are some of those things that stick out for you, Ava?
Well, it changed my life a few different ways. As I said in the beginning, he taught me so much about music and art, classical music, films that were great, directors, anything that he just throw everything at me and it would stick. And I think that I became an intellectual from David. It was his mentoring that helped me to become one. And I also think that when we broke up, which wasn't about anything, nothing me, we never argued or fought or anything like that. It was about what was going on in his life at the time, and he just couldn't take it, all the pressure. But then I came to Chicago here, and that's when, I don't know, God led me to Curtis Mayfield, and then Curtis took me under his wing. And maybe if I'd stayed with David, I never would have gotten to work with Curtis Mayfield, and never would have, been on, Capitol Records and done the things that I did there, and
Like this
met all the
album
people.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I just think that everything that happened with him was meant. It was destined. I spoke to my astrologer about a couple of years ago, and he goes, Ava, the karma between you and David and Luther Vandross is never ending. It just keeps circling in the great circle of the great eight of life. It just keeps going back and forth, full circle. And I believe that because I mean, and I feel their energy all the time. I feel like when I was leaving, I mean, like when I get in my car, this last couple of days I get in my car, every time I turned on the radio, it was Luther on. And I believe that spirit reaches out to you and shows you synchronicities and things like that through music. And I was in a store buying something the other day, and I heard Ripe, which was on the Young Americans album. I'd never heard it played on the radio before, and I'm standing there, and I was feeling a little bit down that day about something. And all of a sudden, you're taking it all the right way, keep it. And I'm like, that's me. Because you could hear my voice really more singing that part than you could anybody's. And never no turning back. That was what it was saying. It was telling me, don't turn back. Keep going forward. Keep going forward. Everyone, keep going forward in the positive. In the positive. There's a lot to be negative, but don't, even if you got to deal with it for a moment, And I see the direction that our country's. I'm also very political. I want our country to be strong and caring and loving again. I don't want the hate. We got to stop hating one another.
Come together
because of our
yeah.
differences. Yes, we've got to stop hating one another because of the color of our skin or the religion that we're in, or that we're different in some way. We've got to stop all of that. We've got to get our lawmakers to be honest and true and not lie and tell lies and just be about themselves. And we all know who I'm talking about. I don't have to say names.
Got to be for
Okay.
the people. We're all together. We all need each other.
Yes,
We
we
all have
need
a
each other, people.
voice.
We need
Yeah.
each other. And here it is. There's going to be a big push to suppress our vote. We've got to vote. We've got to vote. And I'm going to say what my persuasion is. I'm a Democrat. And even if you didn't love the Democrats, they're not going to take away your Social Security, your Medicare, your Medicaid. If you're poor, your food stamps. They're not going to take none of those things away from you. They're not going to take away the right to your own body. They wouldn't take that away. So even if you don't, we're not perfect, and I know we're not. Nobody's perfect, but we won't take those things away from you, and the other side will. So when you're voting, just keep that in mind.
And trying to bring everybody together too, you know, being a Libra myself, the balance and harmony thing, trying to get everybody to just, you know, well, through music can be very healing, right? A lot of people they have turned to music. What are some things, like if we came over with a bottle of wine right now and we said, Ava, put on what's in your stereo, on your iPod, in your boombox, whatever it may be. What's some music that you like to listen to? What does Ava Cherry like to listen to?
Wow, that's really a good question. Well, definitely you'd hear me doing some Luther. You'd hear me doing some Aretha. You'd hear me doing some Rolling Stones, like Just a Shot Away, Give Me Shelter. That's one of my favorite Rolling Stone songs. You'd hear me playing Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies, because he was my idol when I was growing up. You'd hear, you know, me, you know, Gladys, and I mean, those are kind of the people. Led Zeppelin, you know, Whole Lot of Love. That's one of my. I do that,
Great
by the way,
mix
live.
too. Yeah. Yes, you do that, right? Yeah. That's it. Do you like touring? Do you like some people like being out on stage amongst the people, and then there's others that prefer being in the studio where they can have everything exacting. How about
I love it
you?
all.
You
No,
love
no,
it
I love
all.
it. I love it all because I like being exacting in the studio. I'm very exacting about fixing stuff if I don't like the way it sounds. But I like the spontaneity of the stage. I
Right.
like being up there and reacting to the crowd.
Yeah.
When you know, when they're saying things to you and whatever, you know, I love being on stage. I'm a ham.
Like I said, she's honest, and she tells it like it is, which is a beautiful thing. And again, that's what everybody loves about you. Here's another one: Forget Me Nots.
Oh yeah, I did a cover of Patrice Rushen's, and I did this many years ago. Right
Yes,
after Patrice Rushen did it. Yeah.
that's cool too. And there's another great one. These are great. Everybody's talking about this. Is Picture Me.
Picture Me.
Everybody's talking about the album covers and everything.
Oh,
Tell us
I
about
love
this
this
one.
album.
It's special to you, right? This album?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just those days. I mean, oh boy. Luther singing on this one.
Those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days of wine and roses.
Yes. Yes. You know, it's funny you say that, because the other night we had on Monica Mancini, Henry Mancini's daughter, and Greg Fields, you know, her husband, the prolific drummer and record producer. And of course, Henry, that's one of the many songs, Moon River, Days of Wine and Roses. You're intuitive.
Man, I pick up on stuff.
Henry Mancini penned that beautiful song.
Oh, wait, I mean, that was the most beautiful song. Yeah. Sad movie, but beautiful song.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Now, speaking of icons that have you've had an opportunity to again, we don't want to give everything away, but there was also an encounter with Frank Sinatra too, right? A heartwarming moment with Frank.
Yeah, because he was my mother's idol. And my mom, at the time when he died, she was sick and she was recuperating from being sick. And when I told her that he passed away, she went into a depression for like a month, where she just was so depressed because she grew up on Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald and whatever. And I grew up knowing every line, every lyric to every Frank Sinatra song. I'm telling you right now, if you put it on right now, I know the words.
When I
because she
was
would just turn on the
17, it was
stereo.
a very good year.
Oh my God. My mom would just, she just played them when we were kids. We just listened to Frank Sinatra, Christmas songs, everything.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, we were doing the Bill Clinton President's Gala
Oh, yeah.
with Luther. And so we were in our dressing rooms, and I was going down the hallway, and I saw Frank Sinatra's son standing outside of the door. So I said, "That looks like Frank Sinatra's son." And I walked up to him and I said, "Oh," I said, "Are you Frank Sinatra's son?" He goes, "Yeah, I am." And so I saw Frank in the room, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" I said, "Could I get an autograph from my mother?" I said, "She just adores him." And if I told her, if I brought this home, she would freak out. And he
Frank
goes, "Yeah,
Sinatra
of
Jr.,
course."
yeah.
And he was so sweet, his son. He said, "Yeah, of course." He said, "He's not feeling so good today, but he'll give you an autograph." And I went in and I said, "Hi, Frank." He said, "Hi." I said, "My name is Ava." And when I said my name was Ava, because he was married to Ava Gardner, his eyes lit up. He was Ava, like that. And I said, "Could I please have your autograph from my mom? She loves you so much." He goes, "Of course." He gave me his autograph, and I cherished it. I never forget. Never forget. He was so
Mm.
nice. He was such a nice person. So nice.
You've had an opportunity to work with gifted producers, over the years as well, which is really fantastic. You were championed by former Blood, Sweat, and Tears drummer Bobby Colomby for one of the breakout albums
Yeah.
as well. I mean, when you just look at the amount of work and music and years put in, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and even, having opportunities to be in the good graces of Bob Marley too, huh? Tell us about that.
Ooh, wow. I don't know if I can tell you that story. That was
That's
that was kind of hot.
good
All I can
memories.
tell you is I was friends with Chris Blackwell, who was the owner of Island Records. And Chris, I said, "I want to see Bob." And he goes, "Well, there's no more seats." And it was festival seating anyway at Santa Monica Civic in LA. He said, "But you can stand on the side of the stage." I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So I got to stand there on the side of the stage while Bob just did his thing. What a sexy man he was. Whew. Where's my fan? Where is my fan, child? I got a fan on that one.
Just even bringing the subject up, but
Yeah, he was one of those kind of men that you kind of, and he was so sweet. We had a couple of dates, and he was the sweetest guy. Sweet. Really nice.
talk about segues. We'll cool it off a little bit for you, but still a humorous memory. You had a humorous encounter in England with the Queen Mother.
Oh yeah. Well, what happened was there was a guy here named Michael Butler who had a polo fields here and polo horses. And I used to go to the polo games here all the time. And I was friends with Michael. So he was always inviting, the Peruvian polo team, the English polo team, with the Chilean polo team, whatever polo team was in town would play the Americans. And so I went to a game that they were playing Britain. And so I got to meet Prince Charles and all of them. He was playing polo, and I got to meet the whole British polo team, and they invited me to London for the Queen's Jubilee, and I stayed with one of the polo players and his family in right there in Windsor. And I even hurt my back riding on one of the polo ponies because I thought I was being smart and I could ride the polo ponies. He threw me. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, the Americans were playing the British that day, and they had a huge tent. And inside the tent, they had tea, which is high tea, which is the actual tea, and huge tea thing to pour the tea. In silver, beautiful, queen silver, and sandwiches on this, all these sandwiches on this big platter. So I go walk in, the Queen Mother is sitting over there, and she's talking to a couple of the polo players or whatever, and there's people in the tent. I say hello to everyone. and I go over there because I was starving, and I go over to the table and I see all these little sandwiches with all the crust taken off of them. And so I said, "Where's the crust on the bread?" And they howled, honey. They howled for like 20 minutes. They were like, "Oh,
You American."
you American." The Queen Mother she liked me. She said, "Oh God, she's so funny, so funny." She said, "Listen, dear, in England, we take the crust off the bread at high tea." And I said, "Oh, okay, Queen Mother." I did my curtsy. But she was so nice. She was such a nice lady.
I tell you, you have a new single out too, right? Tell us about that, and congratulations. I mean,
Oh, thank
like
you.
I say
Thank you.
to folks who come through who have been doing something for a long time and they've been staying true to form and who really love what they do, you could, and you've earned the right to be, to have your feet in the sand, in the Virgin Islands with a banana colada in the hand, swinging in a hammock and saying, I've done what I've done. I've got my legacy.
I did what I done, and I done
what I done. Right. But
right.
You still want to perform and entertain and connect.
Oh,
and
yeah. It's where I live. It's where I live. It's where I live.
It's what you do. And it's who
yeah,
you are.
yeah. And when I can't
single.
do it anymore, then I can. But I'll still do commercials and voiceover. But here is what I was going to say. The new single is called "Love Shines So Bright." It's called "Love Shines So Bright."
So perfect.
It's coming out at the end of November, the last week in November, and it's on SED Soul Records out of Germany.
Wow. The timing of it, the world needs more of that. I mean, it's so apropos. It's perfectly timed. How did this come about, this single, for you?
Well, I was when I knew I was going to do the Bowie Ireland Festival. My friend David Tobin, who's a wonderful vocalist and who wrote this song, actually, it's one of the only songs I didn't write for myself, but it's such a beautiful song, it doesn't matter. He said, "Well, why don't, if you're going to come to Ireland, maybe you'll come a little further to Germany and do this song with Rob Hart, who was the producer." And Rob's done a lot of things. He's got a lot of things out right now, Rob Hart. And anyway, so I said, okay, so I arranged it so that I did my ticket where I went straight from Ireland to Germany, and I recorded this song. Wow. And it came out so beautiful. I'm so proud of it. And it's talking about love shining bright and positive vibes and good things. That's all it's talking about. That's what it's about.
Is there a line you could share? Any teaser?
No, I'm not teasing yet. I can't tease.
They will handcuff you if you tease, right?
Right now, I don't want to do that. Yeah,
quickly.
But that's why I gave you a few lines of other things, so you wouldn't say, "Well, she didn't give us. She didn't even give us one song. Nothing. She didn't give us anything."
You know what we do have? We actually have and we'll have you come back too when it's out and released and everything.
Okay.
And congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and keep doing it because we need more of Ava for sure. We've got a little. It's a little trailer, a teaser for the book as well. All That Glitters. So we'll show that, and then we'll come back. Here it is, gang.
All That Glitters, Ava Cherry, is the memoir of former fashion model turned singer, recording artist Ava Cherry. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, she left the Windy City in the early 1970s to pursue her entertainment dreams. She met British glam star David Bowie, and her life would be forever changed. Follow her journey in the experience of All That Glitters, as Ava gives you inspirational stories and the fabulous memories of her and Curtis Mayfield, David Bowie, Luther Vandross, Bob Marley, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, and more. Be sure to pre-order All That Glitters, Ava Cherry, for the holidays.
Or you can get it when even there's not a holiday, when it's summer. There it is on the screen. Again, that really was a labor of love on so many different levels for you writing that book, huh? What a great title, too, All That Glitters.
It gave me the opportunity to just say what my life, whatever is worth to anybody, the positivity of it. And I made it a point that I never ever was going to write anything that was vindictive about anyone or hurting anyone or anything like that. All I wanted to do was tell my story, and everybody's got their own story to tell. And I just told it how it happened, exactly how it happened, the truth about how it happened.
What's the response been so far from?
Oh, it's been a really good response. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready in August. I have a bunch of book signings, and I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so it's good. It's been good.
That is awesome. Look at this photo we dug up. That's a great shot, huh?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, so go out and get it. You're going to really enjoy it. You're going to really enjoy it.
That's another great shot we dug up. And this is awesome. I love it. Well, here's another one too. Really fantastic. And I love this. Tell us about this. That is so
okay. Cool. That was done by Mark Wardell, who is a very, very astute artist. I mean, he's very good at what he does. Yeah, he's British. And believe it or not, you are not going to believe this. I was wanting him to do an album cover. And so I told him that I wanted it to be in a suit. So then I told him, well, I found a suit with David from the 1984 show, and I showed him the suit. So really, that's David's body with my head on it.
Really? Is that how creative, huh?
Yeah, because it just looked like it just fit the shoulders and everything. So it was like my head with David's body.
That is cool. Boy, he's so talented, huh?
Oh, he is very talented. Very talented.
You know, when you look at this body of work and all the music and all the memories and all the people, you know, fellow legends like yourself, fellow famous folk, but also those who come up to you in the supermarket or wherever and just say, I just want you to know that I love what you do, and you touch me, and I love your personality, and you inspire me. Maybe you even inspired me to take the plunge and leave my hometown and go pursue my dreams as well. What are some of those inspirations and blessings and joys in your life that continue to forge you forward so you continue to entertain us with your beauty, your poise, and your wonderful craft of music?
Well, I mean, just waking up every day and feeling healthy and strong, having my wonderful mother and my family that love me, that they're there and I can be with them and I can still enjoy them. But I think mostly, like right now, I feel better than I did 20 years ago. Because now, you know, I'm a total, I watch everything that I eat, and I exercise, and I try to keep my mind, you know, where, you know, if I find that exercising is the one that really gets the stress. If I feel stressed, I find that it really helps me. When I sweat, then I can lick the world. I can move mountains. Sometimes I go in like a lamb, but I come out like a lion. Believe a lioness.
Right. Which is incredible. What do you do to counter everything? Meaning, you know, obviously you know, it's a very busy, demanding field that you're in, and it's always calling your name. What does Ava like to do to balance that? What are some of the things that you like to do, whether it's going out in nature or hobbies or cooking?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing. I'm just going to keep saying the same thing to you. Working out is my favorite thing.
So the exercising and the
exercising, yes, keeping in shape. That is, you know, people like look at me and they go, "How old are you?" I don't know how old you are, but I'd like to look like you when I get there. And And then, you know, I do love nature. I love now, like when I go to visit my mom, she lives in Michigan City, and it's very green, lots of foresty, very beautiful landscape. I love that so much. I love being with nature. I could love living in the country. I like fishing. I like going to movies. I like going. I have friends that we're always going to concerts together, or they take me to the movie, and I just enjoy the simple things in life. I enjoy every day just breathing in being, you know, feeling good. You know, because I think that when people wake up and they don't feel good, if they're sick all the time, that's not a good life to live. You got to know that when you put in is what you're going to get back. If you put junk in there, you're going to get junk, you know? And I mean, you know, my mom says to me all the time, boy, you're really a strict taskmaster. That's right, Mom. Because I took sugar out of her diet. I took sugar out of my diet. You know, I do stevia. I do maple syrup. I don't do any. I'm no dairy. You know, I mean,
almond milk.
right. So I'm saying all of those things have to do with how you're going to look and how your body is going to respond.
Exactly.
And that's all I can tell anybody. If you want to stay young longer, you got to work out. You got to eat right. You can't eat junk, cheeseburgers and
all that stuff. Yeah.
No.
Do you do spiritual work? Do you do meditation, yoga, things to balance?
Not so much. I'm trying to learn yoga. But I think I'm going to take a yoga class. But I'm just spiritually in tune. I'm always talking to the universe and talking to God and asking, you know, prayers for people and I'm just you know, and then occasionally I'll go to a friend's church and worship with them, you know, those kind of things. But I just believe that, you know, those things are great. I was actually thinking about going. There's a place where they have shamans in Peru and a couple of places like that in Mexico. And I was actually thinking about going to a retreat and being cleansed by shaman, you know, the way they do the healing herbs and everything like that. I'm very into all of that Reiki and all of it. So. Yeah. So this next year is going to be me exploring those things even more, the spiritual. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. That is really, really incredible. So it's like a full circle situation for you, and you're loving life. You're living.
I'm loving life, and I'm living in the moment.
Yes.
I'm living it, which is what a lot of people do not do.
They don't do it, right?
No, they keep trying to live in the past or live too far in the future. You don't know whether you're going to be in the future. You can hope. But when people go, I'm going to be there 10 years from now, I'm like, yeah, well, you know that for a fact? Right. Okay. I don't know. You know, I'm just grateful to be here now, to be able to love and be loved. That's what I'm grateful for, to be loved and loved.
And you certainly are. And somebody that usually pops in towards the latter part of the show. Just wanted to say hello. Mr. George Burns is with us.
Hi, George.
He's got his cigar. He's got his red hanky. And he's always hanging out down below. He's got a huge martini that he's always sipping on. My aunt collected dolls, and when he turned around 99 or 100, she made sure she got the official George Burns doll. So he pops on towards the later part, and he said you absolutely knocked it out of the park. He loved the stories. He loved all of the terrific sort of roads we went down with this fabulous conversation. That's why I don't even call these interviews. I call these conversations.
Yeah, conversations. And can I just say to your wonderful, wonderful fans and people that watch
the lovelies, yeah.
The lovelies, that don't give up on your dreams. I don't care how old you are. I don't care. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. If you really feel like you can, don't let anybody do that, because people are constantly trying to bring people down sometimes. And I'm just saying, just keep going. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. That's it.
Right. And even if you have to reinvent yourself, do it.
Yes,
Go
you
ahead,
have to
do it.
reinvent
You're
yourself.
living now, right? You're
Right,
breathing
right.
now, and the sun comes up, the sun goes down. And, I was saying that during the course of this crazy pandemic and all. I was saying, get out to nature, go to the ocean, do whatever it takes to surround yourself by those constants in life. The sun
Yeah,
will always rise, the sun will always set. The animals are there, the ocean has its tide in and out. So when it seems like the world and everything is imploding and you don't remember anything anymore, nothing seems familiar, surround yourself with the constants and good music and art and
good
things that are
food
there,
and
good
good
food.
friends. Yeah,
Right. It's still there. It's still there. And it's just that sometimes we get so our pace of life is so frenetic and everything has to be now and next and now and next. No time to reflect, remember, and savor. I'm somebody who loves to take a moment when we go somewhere or we do something to stop and savor it, to taste
me
it, to
too. Me
reflect
too.
reflect on it, not just say,
Yeah,
okay, we did that, check, move to the next. I'm like, wait. Let's not quite check that. Let's live in that moment a little bit. And
I
because
agree.
I think when you do that, it enhances the next moment. When you take the moment that you're living and you relish it and
Savor it.
savor it,
You savor it.
it adds to whatever the next experience is in life, right?
Right. And all of our moments aren't going to be happy, and sometimes happiness is from moment to moment. But I'm
Yes.
I'm I'm trying to learn how to not overreact to things that seem negative, and to try to just be calm in that situation. I'm learning. I'm doing pretty good at it. I'm learning.
Yeah, we're all learning. We're
I'm
all
learning
constantly
every. I just want to keep on learning until they're throwing dirt in my face. Okay.
learning. Have you ever wanted to be in films, movies, things of that nature, a television series, any of that? I could see all
Yeah,
of that with
yeah.
you.
That's what I was telling you earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I could
do.
see all that.
I think I can. I have done. I have acted in
Yeah,
the past, and I think I'm a good actor, and I think that those things are going to come. I
yeah.
think that, and right now we're working on a project that we're trying to get something like that happening, but we'll see.
That is fantastic. Congratulations on that and literally everything. I want to show you just a couple of comments coming in here. Crystal Nolan's watching in Connecticut, one of our lovedies, and she says, thank you for sharing your story, Ava. I wish you continued blessings and success. Merlin in Canada, thank you so much for being here, Ava, with lots of hearts. And we also have Bella, 1313. She says, thank you, Jim and Ava, for sharing your conversation. Christine Clifton in North Carolina. Ava, thanks for your time and sharing so many interesting stories of your incredible career. You are a kind and talented soul. Fantastic words of wisdom shared. Lovety, Ava. And
Oh,
Crystal says, wishing you all the best, Ava. We love you. Kathleen in New York
oh,
City. Thank you for being here, Ava. Great show. Thank you for sharing your life with us. You are a lovety and you are
I'm
lovely.
a lovity,
Yes,
and it's
you are.
and
We say,
and it's my pleasure, my pleasure.
there's Oscars, Grammys, Tellys, Tonys, Peabodys, Emmys, but when you're a lovety on the Jim Master Show live, are your feet tingling right about now, Ava?
Yeah.
Um, thank you for so much for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for joining us tonight, Ava. Absolutely love the stories. What a fantastic career.
Thank
And
you.
so sorry for the low points. Your voice is out of this world.
Thank
That is
you.
beautiful. Thank you, Ava. I needed to hear that. I want the book. Great intro for the book. They all want the book, which I think is absolutely
Oh, yes, please.
yeah, fantastic as well. And
Amazon. All that
yes,
glitters, the Ava Cherry story. That's what it is, mates.
it is really amazing, and you're going to want to get it, folks. It's a page turner, but it's also beautifully written, and it's from the heart and from the soul, which I think is absolutely fantastic. They also loved all the photos. Christine says the
Um,
universe comes through for us most the time. Open our eyes and ears for it. That's really true. And from your lips to God's ears, Ava, And good stuff. You guys are really great.
Thank you guys. Oh,
Yeah. And
bless you.
Arjan says, because he's, in a
He's
later
still,
time zone.
yeah,
He says, I
yeah.
should have fallen asleep a long time ago, but I can't stop listening. Thank you so much. Then you
Arjan,
know what, Arjan? That means Jim and Ava have done our jobs.
that's right,
That is
Arjan. I
perfect.
love you, Arjan. You were
This
just
is
such an inspiration to me
a great
too.
support, right? To have
Yes.
people, that's another thing, to have people that believe in your vision and support and are there when the chips are up, when the chips are down. That's really important too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
We thank Arjan for being with us here
We too.
on the show.
Arjan.
The stories of your amazing journey through life are so inspiring. May your star continue to shine, Ava.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful
Thank
stuff, I tell you.
Beautiful people and beautiful stuff is all I have to say. I'm so.
That's the only way I would have done this series with my craziness and my career in TV and radio when I started this 730 episodes ago, is to have it to be fun, warm, conversational, poignant, entertaining, wherever we take it, inspiring. And having you on has just added to that flavor and that vibe as well, Ava.
But not to be just the Mutual Admiration Society, Jim. Your way that you connect verbally and the way you explain me and the way that you do your show, it's just so wonderful. It's so perfect. It flows.
Appreciate that. Well, I hope it met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Ava.
Okay, Jim. Thank you so much. God
we
bless
have a little
you.
toast to you with our Kindness Matters mug.
All right.
Little kindness matters. Miss Virgo Rising.
Virgo Rising. My rising conjunct your rising now.
That's it. I can't wait to mention that in the supermarket tomorrow. I'm going to be the hit. You are the best. You are not only an icon, but you are a real person. And we wish you nothing but continued joy, love, and blessing in your life. The best to your wonderful mom and to the family. Let's definitely stay in touch. I hope
we will stay in touch, my friend.
Yeah, I hope we're in the same zip code and we break bread at some point. That would be beautiful, and I would love that.
Jim. All right, man. Thank you, Jim. Okay, you're the best too. Yeah, and everybody out there, the best. God bless everyone.
They love you, Ava. We all love you.
Love you too.
You keep the faith.
All that glitters. All that glitters.
All that glitters. Absolutely. A lot of glittering tonight, Ava. A lot of glittering tonight. You be well, my friend. Again, we'll stay in touch. You're welcome back anytime. And thanks so much for all the time, your caring way, and for all the levity tonight.
Okay, lovely. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
The incredible Ava Cherry here on the Jim Master Show Live. Was that not amazing? Is she not spectacular? That's one of the things I love about my work in television and radio, and then doing this show, is the opportunity to connect with amazing folks who, again, you know her for all of her great music. You know her for these great stories. But now, because we had such a wonderful conversation that wasn't scripted, no questions prepared, she had no idea what I was going to ask. I let it flow. You guys interacting with us from all around the world, with our international audience around the world as well. It's just really a spectacular synergy, a simpatico that happens on this show that you really couldn't even script. It's something that the world, I think, needs more of. And a lot of people have been saying, Jim, you're bringing back the lost art of conversation. And I thank everybody for saying that. That's why we don't call this an interview show. We call it an entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series, sort of the old school talk shows with a modern vibe and a modern twist of today. Crystal says, great stories. And Bella says, indeed. Absolutely. I agree. And you guys were on fire. I really love it. Elisa says, thank you, Ava. And Bella says, good night, Jim and Ava. You as well. And Crystal says, I love that, Jim. And Sherry says, thank you, Jim. She is such an open and wonderful person. What a great conversation. The pleasure is all mine. And Ava thanks you as well. Don't forget to get the book, the music, new single coming out as well. A lot of Ava is on the way. And don't forget to go back in the archives and pick up some of the other material as well that she's been involved in. You can get it all on Amazon and Spotify, iTunes, all the usual places. Maureen says from Arizona, I'm absolutely blown away after meeting Ava. Good grief. Can anyone be more lovely and caring? She is just a beautiful soul. I told you guys you would enjoy her. Absolutely. And what's cool is, again, you know her probably from the music, but now you got a chance to learn a little bit more behind the scenes of who she is and what she's all about. And that's what we like to do. We like to go a little bit deeper with fun, levity, all of that. We don't have it too structured. We have a structure to it, a format, but we don't have it tightly bound and wound. And these cool things tend to happen the way they did, like this episode of the Jim Master Show Live. Gang, if you loved this, give us a thumbs up, yes. We thank you, Jim, for introducing us to amazing people. The pleasure is all mine. If you loved this, gang, we do encourage, welcome, and hope that you will give it a thumbs up. That really, really does help us. And definitely leave a comment on the YouTube channel. We love it. YouTube loves it. It helps us grow, expand, and bring you more content. So there's a thumbs up icon that you see next to this episode. Click that for us and leave a comment. Drop a comment. Talk to us. We respond. Let us know how much you're enjoying our series. What do you love about the shows? What do you love about this episode? And of course, if you haven't yet, we would love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't be fearful of the word subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. You just click that red button there, and that means you're part of our JMS Lovity Squad or Lovity family, and we love to have you with us. It continues to grow. More and more new viewers are discovering what we're doing here. Some 730 episodes later, probably well beyond that. I throw that number out there, probably way beyond that number now. And spread the word. Share the Lovity, gang. Tell everybody about the Jim Master Show Live series. Really, really cool if you can do that. That helps us grow as well. Want to let you know we've got some extraordinary guests lined up for you guys as well in coming days. Working hard behind the scenes. Tomorrow we have a fantastic film and television writer and author. He actually is a screenwriter for the LBJ movie starring Woody Harrelson. Also, he's got a riveting new thriller out, The Local. We're going to talk about that. He's also written for a lot of television series, movies. He works on some of the big ones that we'll be talking about tomorrow. Joey Hartstone is with us. We're looking forward to that. And then Oba is with us on Friday. He is, just to let you know, he's been in 33 films. He's one of the most recognizable faces on film and television. He's currently in 4 popular television series right now. Yeah, he's starring in 4 popular television series. Multiple Emmy-winning actor, producer, director, writer, dancer. He also has obtained the Lifetime Achievement Award. He is incredible. You've seen him on so many TV series over the years, movies extraordinaire. He's going to be with us on Friday. Saturday, get ready to groove with Chili Willy Groove. He's a legend, an acclaimed Latin percussionist, songwriter, producer, recording artist. He's got new music out too. He's been doing this for years. He's going to be with us on Saturday. That is going to be exciting and exceptional. Also, coming up on Monday, look at this. Chef Josie Clemens. She was on Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. That's right. And also, she's the co-creator, celebrity judge of the all-new all-star vegan cooking competition TV series, Peeled, which is debuting in September. That's right, on TV and streaming as well. Chef Josie Clemens is going to be with us Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Again, she's the co-creator, celebrity judge of the All-Star Vegan Cookie Competition. I keep saying cooking competition. I wish it was a cookie one. I'd be there. We'd be doing the show on location. If it was a cookie competition, I'll be there. But it's a cooking competition TV series. Again, she was on Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. You may remember her from that series. Now she's co-created this one, and it's really cool. Tuesday, look who's with us. Daphne Maxwell Reid, legendary actress, comedian, model. She was Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air series on NBC. Her husband is another phenomenal, well-known actor, Tim Reid. Yeah, she's been in tons of shows and series. Daphne is with us on Tuesday. Yes, also next week, we have internationally acclaimed illustrator and animator Glenn Hansen. Just take a look at the screen there. Look at all of the incredible illustrations he's known for. That's just scratching the surface, folks. Just the short list of the amazing guests that are coming through. But on this episode, we had the incomparable Ava Cherry with us. So open, so real, amazing stories, legendary stories, beautiful stories, and of course, her love of David Bowie and with David Bowie over the years. And again, we just really scratched the surface. Really cool person, very open. She's very spiritual, very deep, and very creative. Still doing modeling, now doing voiceovers and commercials, which I think is really awesome. I've done a lot of that work over the years as well. It's really cool that she's in that realm now. She loves doing it. There's the book, gang. Get it at Amazon. All That Glitters. We showed you a little trailer, teaser, where you can learn a little bit more about it. If you missed this episode, anything in this episode, you can watch it again on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Really extraordinary having Ava Cherry joining us here, acclaimed vocalist, model, music legend, right here for you on the Jim Masters Show. I'm going to take a look at a couple more comments, and then we're going to scoot out. I have a nice, flavorful fruit ice pop waiting for me. It's melon and cherry and strawberry flavored. Comes from Trader Joe's, and it's good, and it's got my name on it. Crystal says, my mouth's getting a little dry because it knows I'm craving that nice, smooth, silky ice pop. It is summertime here. Thank you for all you do, Jim. My pleasure, Crystal. Again, there's over 730 episodes you can binge watch. Melba Moore was on our show. The Pointer Sisters were here. Denise Nicholas was here. Lucy Arnaz. I mean, so many incredible people. Kevin Eubanks, you know, from The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, the music director. He was with us recently. Nathan Carter. The other night, Monica Mancini, daughter of Henry Mancini, brilliant vocalist herself. Greg Field, her fabulous husband, 8-time Grammy winning, as well as Emmy winning record producer. They're dear friends of mine, Monica and Greg. We've worked together on TV projects. I interviewed her on PBS years ago when she was doing a special in tribute to her dad, Henry. We sang Happy Birthday, Monica and I, for her mother, who passed away not that long ago, Ginny Mancini, wife of Henry Mancini. And we sang on that episode, Happy Birthday, together. It was beautiful. Thank you very much, Crystal. And Bella's going to get the book. Fantastic. It's called All That Glitters. And Maureen says, you are the snitsnit. Is that what it is, Jim? Thank you for bringing so many amazing guests to Levity Hall. We absolutely love you. Well, we love you guys back. We try to share the levity as much as possible, and we love it. We've got, again, another fantastic show tomorrow, and so many shows coming up. Levities, you got it. And Ava loved being a levity. You know, a lot of these guests, when they are deemed a levity on our show, which is something very special about what we do here at the Jim Masters Show, it's kind of exclusive. They love it. You hear that? I'm a lovity. And it's a cool thing. Thank you, Crystal, as well, and Sherry and everybody watching. Gang, definitely leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well. That means thanks, Wojahowitz. Weeda Paul. You're funny. Yes, before we go, a couple of things. If you didn't know, we had an episode where Beaver Cleaver was here. Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver was on our show, and we had an extraordinary exclusive conversation. A brilliant actor, a wonderful man, a terrific soul, and Jerry Mathers, who was the Beav on the Leave It to Beaver series and all the incarnations afterwards. He was a guest on our show. You can go back in the archives on the Jim Masters Show Live YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and you can see that amazing episode with Jerry Mathers. And we talked about the show, the series, Wally, who was his brother on the series, Tony Dow. We send love to the family of Tony as well. And also, we've had some guests on our show who have worked with Norman Lear. Several guests who've worked with Norman Lear. Norman Lear, bless his heart and soul, 100 today. Norman Lear, epic producer extraordinaire, so many shows, All in the Family, Good Times, The Jeffersons, Maude, all of them, and Gloria. I mean, the list is well beyond just the ones that we always know. One of the nicest guys, one of the most incredible souls, real, authentic, funny, and Norman Lear, 100 years old today. So he remains. Dick Van Dyke, at the time of this show today, Dick Van Dyke and Mel Brooks still with us. There was a great episode of CBS Sunday Morning just a couple years ago when it was Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, Norman Lear, and Dick Van Dyke together, the four. Carl, of course, we lost not that long ago. Carl Reiner, father to Rob Reiner, of course, and creator of the Dick Van Dyke Show, and with Sheldon Leonard, of course. And remaining, God bless him, the incomparable Dick Van Dyke and Mel Brooks and Norman Lear. Happy birthday, Norman Lear, from me and all, as a television guy working in TV myself, the contributions you've made to our industry and to the world. I could spend 2 hours on that, and good stuff. Crystal says yes, and you're so happy he's still with us. Such a talented man and good looking as well. Happy 100th, Norman Lear. Absolutely. God bless Norman Lear. Yeah. And Pam says we have seen every one of his shows. My mother would have been 100 in October. Wow. How beautiful. And Crystal says, happy 100th birthday, Norman Lear. Yeah, he's a legend. He's absolutely a legend. So are you. You're all legends here on the Jim Masters Show Live as well, gang. We love you all. Thanks for being with us on this episode of our series. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all the rest. One more time, we thank Ava. It's a cool shot with her and David Bowie, huh? We thank Ava for joining us here on the show. There's the book, All That Glitters. Music legend Ava Cherry joining us here and sweetening up the atmosphere. Yes. She was the cherry on top, wasn't she? For this episode. Absolutely. Pick up some of her incredible music. It's still out there. We showed just some of it. There's a lot of it out there, gang. And you guys enjoy. All right, we're going to duck out of here. Got that popsicle waiting. Just taking a look at some of these comments that are still coming in. Thanks, gang. You guys are the best. We love you all. We shall see you on the next episode. Stick with us, gang. We're just getting started. Even though it's 2 years and 730 episodes later, we are just getting started. Kathleen says her mom would have been 88 tomorrow. Bless your mom. A loving, loving woman. And sending you lovity, Kathleen, from me and all of us here at your favorite show, the Jim Masters Show Live Series. All right, gang, we love you all. Take care. We don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later. Sláinte, cheers, hasta la vista, avida zain, sayonara, moi lu, ciao, and wherever else we can think of quickly. And take it easy. Love one another. Be good to one another. Take care of one another. That is very, very important to do. Good night, lovities. Enjoy your popsicle, Jim. After all this talking, I've earned at least a popsicle. Don't forget, you could always do super thanks too on our YouTube channel. That helps support us. There's a little heart icon on our YouTube channel underneath all the episodes. Super thanks helps support all this work, all these hours, all the expense and everything that comes with this show. Ciao, Bella. And thanks, Jim and lovities. And great show tomorrow we have. And we look forward to everybody joining us as often as you can. And if you ever miss anything, everything is archived for you on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Have great days ahead. Good way to wrap with a comment like that. Have great days ahead. I agree. I second that emotion always. And just like Ava said, if you were listening to some of her points she was making, live right now in the moment. You're alive. Live now. Make the most of it. And take time to savor and celebrate all the beauty that life has to offer. Gang, we're going to take off. The popsicle's waiting, calling my name. I hear it. Jim. We'll see you on the next one here on the Jim Masters Show Live. For those watching live, if you're watching this Memorex, watching this later, stick right here. Another episode comes up on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV and the Jim Masters Show Live. Thanks for being with us. You guys are the best. Cheers.